In the last hour, Tietie has announced 5 fresh appointments. Joining me now are Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Kayode Ajulo, and lawyer and Arise analyst, Frank Tietie. Gentlemen, good to see you both, and thanks for your time as always. Well, history already here in Nigeria, not too good a moment for many people in Nigeria and Ondo State. It looks like the fourth we've seen of a serving governor who's dying while in office. Let's start with you, Kayode Ajulo. You also had spoken when there seemed to be an imbroglio leading up to what the recent development. For the people of Ondo State and Nigerians watching, what does this new development mean for our democracy that has again been tested?
Well, good evening. Let me start by first trying to pay my condolence and my tribute to the man Oluwarotimi Odunayo Akeredolu, CON, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Apart from being the governor of my state, I consider him a leader, a brother, a true brother, a senior, someone that through what he has been and what he has been to some of us, a good inspiration that most of the people, and particularly in speaking, we believe we take up to him and follow what he's doing. Today in Ondo State is a day of great mourning. I came into this country, UK, this afternoon, only to be met with this devastating news. So to me, what's in the next 3 days, what should be doing is to think about him, his leadership quality, his personality, and what he has been and what he has done for not only Ondo State, but Nigeria and Africa. Here is a man who speaks his mind. Even I told someone some minutes ago, and I can even see that I even find it difficult to use past tense in describing him, who speaks his mind, who boldly will remember what happened when the bandits ravaged the state and the south and the entire country, will remember what he did when it comes to taking a position, and quite a progressive position about the presidency of this country. And we'll remember what he did when we have what we call Amotekun in the country. And above all, when nobody expected him to speak his mind, that was when his election is about to be determined by the courts. Despite that, he made his time known. And here is the man that is lying somewhere. It's just so sad, and I think we need to express that. Discussing politics, I don't think today should be a day of politics. It should be of discussing politics. It should be a day to pay that tribute and to see from the life and the death of this great man what will come and what will become and what we can follow from what such a great man has done.
I can see how difficult, how hard it's been for you, Kayode, knowing full well your closeness with the former governor. Frank Tietie, you have also been a close watcher of development in the state, being a lawyer and someone who's also a staunch member of the NBA. Let us in on what this or how the legal community is taking this very unfortunate demise.
You know, it's the Nigerian Bar Association currently is in a very somber mood. I'm talking about the community of lawyers across the entire country, especially for those of us who were lawyers at the time Akeredolu was the president of the Nigerian Bar Association. I recall him as an excellent gentleman. He was very brilliant. I also recall his position when brief writing was just taking its roots in our legal practice, and he won the cautioned in a community, in a gathering of lawyers and judges by saying, look, there must always be room for advocacy in the practice of law, and that this brief writing should be looked upon with some caution I recalled when he referred to the fact that if it's about brief that will win cases, then everybody should go and then hire the former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibajo, and ask him to write briefs, and then submit such briefs. So I saw him as an excellent example of a good lawyer. I looked up to him, and his tenure as president of the NBA was, in my opinion, very fantastic. Now, we witnessed, as we have always done, in terms of a succession crisis, a politics of that is devoid of a sense of service, that places some form of desperation above life and the importance of personalities, like an excellent gentleman like Rotimi Akeredolu. Now, I mean, I felt quite sad when I saw in the visuals we just watched, when the new governor being sworn in, and we heard cheers and shouts and all sort of rantings. That shouldn't really be. It shouldn't be, because this is sad. One person's misfortune shouldn't really translate to another person's fortune, and if it is indeed, that kind of person shouldn't appear to be gloating or to be happy about that, or even his supporters shouldn't be doing that. Therefore, so much effort must be made to tone down such kind of behavior that seems to be very abusive and unbecoming of a people of a state that are really mourning at this time. Now, you see, there is serious need for the National Assembly to take another look at the transition issues with regards to when a governor is sick, or when our former president was sick. It also led to constitutional amendments. So it's important that that transition period should be looked upon in such a manner that will douse the tension and the acrimony that are usually associated with the forces that either want to use the ailing governor's absence to their favor, or other forces who want to take advantage of the sickness of a governor. That was witnessed in a very sordid manner in Ondo State, a very shameful manner. The current governor was literally saved by the chief judge, which opens another door for another jurisprudence, whether or not the chief judge at every time must constitute that 7-man panel each and every time the Speaker of the House of Assembly makes that a request. So all that politics in those states should now be put behind. Unfortunately, we've just lost a rare gem. I find Rotimi Akeredolu irreplaceable in the legal profession. Even when he went to those states as governor, he was already being missed in the legal profession.
Well, certainly irreplaceable, but again, I think Tietie was able to catch something in that report earlier, but again, in the last hour, Kayode Ajulo announced 5 fresh appointments. Journalist Ebenezer Adenio was chosen as his chief press secretary, and Sunday Abire as special assistant on new media. Smart Omodumbi is special assistant to the governor on political matters. Motunrayo Oyedele is the special assistant to the governor on photography, and Temitayo Irerepolu is a special assistant to the governor. Kayode Ajulo, some are saying this is rather too early, knowing that your state is in mourning and the country is in mourning. And as Frank Tietie observed, the chairing there doesn't seem to come right for politicians who may not understand when to draw the line between mourning and celebration.
Well, thank you very much. And I think I must thank Frank Tietie for that candid opinion. Like I mentioned earlier, we are in mourning, particularly in Ondo State. And apart from Ondo State, personally, his death is a great loss to me personally. And based on that, I would not really want to comment, but knowing fully well the man we are celebrating, the man we are mourning, is someone that speaks his mind at all times, irrespective of whatever it is. And on that note, I will go with Frank Tietie, particularly when it comes to some people sharing. I don't think, and I want to believe, this may be the hands-on that may not even understand the import of what is happening. You can see how rowdy the place is. You can see the number of people. I tried to look, I can only identify some few people I believe those are those people that may not even know it may not even purport, even if you ask them, they may not even know the governor or the deputy that has been sworn in. But with the euphoria and the way it is, we know those who can do that. And I want to believe that nobody, no stakeholders, nobody that knows Akeredolu will be there. Even you can see the governor, despite being sworn, you can see that he's still in that sober mood. That is the way it should be. That's what a statesman would be. But to the appointment, I know since last week that the acting governor needs those people, particularly some of his aides were sacked on some weeks back, and they believe that they must have another one, and I believe that must have been that appointment. I don't think that is the appointment that is just been done because someone passed on today. And I believe the governor has already declared 3 days mourning in the state, and asked that the flag must be flown en masse. Not only the mass, that flag is just symbolic. The state is in the morning. We are really in the morning. I'm in London. I know the number of people that have been calling me since I arrived here. Everybody is to extend their condolences, their sympathy. And I think that is the mood of the state. The mood of, in the football field, most of those who are the commentaries at the football field, the football stadium and field, they may not even know what is happening. What they are seeing is sound and visuals make them to be excited. And I believe that's what it is. I don't think that is from people who have understood.
So, Kayode, before I come to Frank, Frank raised a very important aspect, and it has to do with another look at our constitution, at our statutes, especially in terms of transmission of authority to your deputy, even if it's for the slightest of a walk or holiday or surgery, which still, till this moment, isn't coming clearly for many in our political life.
Thanks, Frank, for that. If you remember my last outing here at your studio, I raised that issue that we need to know our leaders, how they have been taken care of. Because I remember, if you recall, I raised the issue of Praetorian guards, that there was a time that it is Praetorian guard that note which Caesar to live and which Caesar to die. If you remember, I mentioned it. Caesar then happened to be like the head of state, like the president in Roman Empire then. His Praetorian guard, one Praetorian guard has agreed that this one must live today to live. This secrecy, the way the health of our leaders is being handled, lead me to be desired. I believe the House, our legislator, need to make it very clear law how it is. And the irony of it here is that we will be saying their health happen to be confidential, which we need not know anything about it, whereas they are being treated with government fund. So the question here is this: are we using Panadol? Are we using whatever it is? What are we treating for? And you find out that sometimes a whole security allowance of a governor is suspended and on issue of treating so-called sickness. And that's why you see sometimes we don't even know. Till the day the governor, thousands of people of Ondo State voted for, nobody can give account of his last day. Yesterday, I saw his wife in Ondo State running up and down, whereas somebody is in the cold in the mortuary, in cold in damning. In winter, this is winter. And you can see how he is creating, how painful and such it is. I believe from the day of taking your oath of office, your day-to-day, what even the food you eat. And I will say, it is only in Nigeria this is happening, because if you remember that day, I raised the issue when I was having some issue that I wrote to the United States of America, that's the White House specifically, to ask to make some inquiries about President Obama's health. Within 24 hours, I received the entirety of his health status, down to the amount of nicotine, the cigar he took, the drug, including alcohol, that the intake, the state of his liver, the state of all the vital organs was given. That is where things work. The same thing should be done. So much is expended, so much is expected of this our leaders. And for a point that somebody who is sick, who is now being superintended by the doctor, it's as if that the Ondo State is even being ruled by the doctor, not Akeredolu. And I mentioned it that day when I said, when some people were accusing Akede, the governor, that he still sit tight, I said, Akede Ajulo, I know, will never sit tight. Akede Ajulo, that I know the way, the way, and if you go with him, you will know that.
You know, I'm almost out of time here, Kayode, and I saw Frank nodding his head there to that last statement. I'd like Frank to quickly, in a minute, give us his views on that.
Thanks to Kayode Ajulo SAN for that affirmation. If you know how refined Rotimi Akeredolu is, I'll say in the present tense, you would not ever in a second consider that he would be a sit tight or hold on tight person to power. You know, that's the kind of person, and that's the reason why there is room for comparative analysis between various democracies. In our own case, we are yet to develop those customs, those conventions that should actually accompany these periods, these difficult periods of transitions that you know, arise from illness and then ultimately death. We haven't developed that, and that's a strong need for the National Assembly to look at it with regards to the mandatoriness of providing information about the chief executive of the state, particularly the president and then the governor. It's something that needs to be done. Again, nothing would have stopped you know, that kind of somber atmosphere to be reenacted by not necessarily you know, a custom, but even statute, because we are developing democracy. And it doesn't matter how long we have practiced since 1999. But if you realize the danger of, you know, pitting or rather pitting two sections of a state against each other as a result of a power tussle between a governor and a deputy governor, it's something that is not desirable at all. Therefore, the understanding should be that much respect should be given to the governor, whether alive or dead, because it is the governor that actually picked the deputy governor in trust. So there is a desperate and urgent need to reconsider the provisions of section 191 of the Constitution, considering that the Constitution says that whenever the office of the governor is vacant, the deputy governor becomes governor. So that process requires some dignifying you know, procedures that would make it devoid of anything that would cause rancor and bitterness in the state.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Kayode Ajulo, Frank Tietie. Many thanks for your insights.